and welcome to Radnor Studio 21, mainline public access television located in the heart of the Wayne Business District. This is True Stories, and I'm your host and proud Radnor resident, Megan Gummel. My guests today are from Wolf Performing Arts Center located in Bryn Mawr. Founding Executive Director, Bobbi Wolf, and Education Director, Janine Merolla. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time out. You're probably in full camp mode right now. I know you have a lot of great staff back at the theater taking care of the camp kids.
We do indeed.
Yes, and first I'd like to say congratulations on your 15th season.
Thank you. Yes, we are as of September, we will be beginning our 15th season.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's very exciting.
So take us back, Bobbi Wolf and Janine Merolla. Bobbi, take us back. What?
To 2005,
yes,
when it all began. It actually began a little bit before that, about a year and a half before that. I was a public school teacher in Lower Merion School District for many years. And in addition to teaching during the day, I ran the after-school theater program and became very aware of the educational value of theater and wanted to do more during the day within the district and bring more theater into education, and realized the way I was going to do that was to open a place of my own. Actually, back in about 2003, my daughter and I took a ride up to the Pennsylvania Youth Theater up in the Allentown area, which is a program that we modeled Wolf Performing Arts Center after. And on the way home, my daughter turned to me and said, "We can do that." And a year and a half later, we did.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I retired from public school teaching in order to, corny as it sounds, to follow my dream and to open this center for children.
That's a wonderful story. You were the universe was like, now's the time.
Ready to go and believing in what we were doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Wonderful. And how does, Janine, what is your role at?
Oh, and I was going to say, in 2005, I was a freshman in college, so
Thank you.
A little You're welcome. I started actually as I was a part-time director for the 3rd through 5th grade program, which is a fall and spring performance. I was a director in 2014, I think, so about 5-ish years ago. And then as I started working more and more with the kids, I really just fell in love with what Wolf Performing Arts Center was doing. I was, freelance teaching artist as a theater professional in Philadelphia or any city. You're doing 1,000 different things at once. But I was really committed to what they were doing, and so we sort of started having a conversation, and it became, okay, let's be full-time here. And I, turned my sights there and then started developing the education program. I have my master's in theater education from Emerson College, and was trying to find a place for that to use it. Exactly.
Perfect match.
I did find it, yeah.
So, Bobbi.
Yes.
You're a nonprofit?
Yes.
And elaborate on the mission statement.
Certainly. We're a nonprofit because when all of this began, a friend of mine sat me down and said, "Do you want to be a nonprofit or a for-profit?" And coming out of public education, I knew nothing other than nonprofits and volunteers, and so I made the decision on a nonprofit, which of course meant I needed a board. I needed a board chairman, so I went to my dearest friend, Evie Cohen, who then became our first board chair. And the mission was relatively easy to develop because I knew what I believed in. And we're dedicated to bringing performing arts to children and giving children the chance to create, perform, experience theater, learn from theater, and most importantly, in a safe environment where they can grow with confidence, character, and creativity.
That's wonderful. Safe environment to which to be themselves.
Yes.
And to blossom and bloom.
And that is what we hear over and over again. This past spring, some of our students, older children, gave speeches at the end of the shows. And that was the theme. This is a place I can be myself and this is a place I like myself.
Oh, excellent.
And that is wonderful. And I just want to sort of clarify what Wolf Performing Arts Center does, because we are so multifaceted.
You are. Thank you for. I didn't realize all your offerings.
my
We discussed
goodness.
how I was aware of the Wolfpack Theater group that my daughter asked to go to.
Certainly.
And you have so much more to offer than
Yes.
just
we do classes, we do private lessons, we do workshops, we do classes, and I'm going to let Janine speak more to that as far as the grades and what we offer. We do performances for children as young as first grade all the way through 12th grade. We have 3 different performing groups: first and second grade, third through 5th grade, 6th through 12th grade. Our biggest challenge is finding the place to perform. We do have a small black box theater back at Wolfpack, and we do use that, but we do our best. We have a great relationship with Rosemont College, so we're able to take some of our shows there. And then we have a summer program, our summer camp, which is extremely successful. That runs for 10 weeks in the summer. And we do a visiting artist program where we take theater into schools if schools can't come to us.
Oh, that is wonderful, taking the show on the road, so to speak.
Yes.
That's an excellent. So, Janine, do you want to elaborate a little bit more on the classes?
Sure. Our classes program is kind of, I'm developing a way for us to, performances are like the exciting thing. Everyone wants to be on stage. Everyone wants that curtain up and you in the spotlight. But for our educational programming, what we want to do is develop the skills that as a young person you need in your life, regardless of your theater background, right? Like everyone should have confidence and be able to walk into a room and, feel good about themselves and talk to people and collaborate and work together. That's a good way to live your life in the world, regardless of being in a show. But, obviously it's theater, and kids who are excited about theater want to come and take classes. So we have, like Bobbi said, we have, kindergarten through 2nd grade, 3rd through 5th, 6th through 12th, and then we offer through mainline school night, we offer an adult improv class that has actually been super successful.
Is it really?
Yeah, right. Yeah, come on down. It's really, really fun. It's nice to have that dynamic because we have, the kids in the space, and then we see, a group of, adults hanging out and coming downstairs after their, hour and a half of improv. And we hire professional teaching artists from all over the area with various skills. I'm working towards kind of tailoring classes to a specific skill set. Like we have a brilliant teaching artist who does stage combat and also choreography. So kind of coming up with a class that like suits his skill set and is also really exciting to kids, because where are they going to learn stage combat if we're doing, Charlotte's Web? They're not going to necessarily know how to, do you know what I mean? So we're trying to, get things that are exciting to them, things that they may not learn in a performance. Performances, they're amazing, but they are product oriented. We want to put a show on by the end of it. The classes are process. We want to learn, how to be with each other, how to work together, how to create an ensemble. And so that's kind of what we're doing, and we're starting in the fall. I'm getting my teachers lined up and
that's
getting
great.
ready to go.
So are the classes the same? I saw private lessons in acting, singing, musical theater, dance, or audition techniques, grades 1 through 12. So that's a private lesson, a one-on-one
Correct.
with somebody to maybe, is there any prerequisites? Anything that an interested student or a child would need to have before entering any of your?
For the classes and the lessons, no. The door is open. For our performances, first and second graders are automatically in the show if they want to be in the show. We're doing Disney's 101 Dalmatian Kids.
Oh.
So our first and second graders do not audition for that. They're automatically in that. Our 3rd through 5th graders, and this fall we're doing Frog and Toad kids, and they do not have to audition. They do an audition, but they are accepted, and Janine's the pro from our 3rd through 5th grade shows. And so they are all accepted. Our 6th through 12th graders go through an audition process, and it is competitive, and not everyone who auditions gets a part. Not everyone who auditions gets the part they want necessarily, but it is a learning process, and over again at Wolf Performing Arts Center, I am amazed because these children are not into competition. They're into supporting each other.
That's wonderful.
And the whole idea of being part of a show, being in the ensemble, is really taken off. And everyone is important when you put on a production.
And that teaches resilience.
Yes.
Not just supportive,
Absolutely.
it's that resilience of, because showbiz,
Yeah.
you have to take rejection and just know that it's at some level, and again, what that resilience comes in. So that's great that you
also-
teach them an honest experience,
Sure.
not just everybody gets a part or
Right. And also open-mindedness to kind of be like, well, I saw myself here. I saw myself in this particular role. You see me here. And instead of just shutting it down because I'm not happy, I'm going to kind of work in this role and see what you saw in me. And maybe I'm challenged. And maybe I see, that I can portray a role this way. That kind of like
That's an
widen their
excellent point,
horizon.
that you may see something in them that they don't see in themselves,
Right.
and they can shine in another role or way. That's great.
Which is another thing we teach, trust.
Yeah, trusting us.
very
And trusting
good.
each other.
So who decides on the performances that you make? Do you all get together? Who came up with the 101 Dalmatians? How do you choose your production?
We have an artistic director, and that is Betsy Wolf-Wren, who happens to be my daughter. Who's the one who went with me to help and turned to me and said, we can do this. That's Betsy Wolf-Wren. She's the artistic director. She will we're a very collaborative office. We are a non-walled office, and there are now 7 full-time people working there. So we're very collaborative, and everybody gives their opinion. Ultimately, Betsy will make the decision, but she talks to the directors before she makes any decision as well.
And who writes the scripts?
Oh, we purchased the royalties.
Okay.
They are, yes. Everything is purchased through various companies.
Okay. Oh, that's
This fall we happen to be doing 2 versions of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, so we didn't have to purchase those scripts. Our 2 incredibly creative directors, one being Janine and one being Betsy, are rewriting the script to change the time of when Midsummer takes place.
So in the camps, obviously there's a maximum capacity, because I was saying how I couldn't get my daughter in.
Yeah.
I'm still hearing
And the
about
building
it.
is-
I'm still hearing
Yeah,
about it.
sure.
By the
Yeah.
way, because she knew I was coming here to meet you today.
Yeah, she's like, and also just,
And
you
by
could
the
just drop in there that I won't be there.
So there's limited capacity for the camps. I'm speaking to the camps because I know that they're very popular in the summertime. Does every kid gets a role to play though within?
Yes.
Yes.
So, and is it your daughter Betsy that decides on the productions over the summer? Because you're doing that a lot quicker.
Yes. It's an
That I
unbelievable
found. How
process.
are you? I was reading the description and you had some wonderful choices, and again, it didn't work out for us this year, but I thought, wow, you're turning over a production in a short amount of time.
Absolutely. One of the reasons I think we have the waiting list that we do and we can't accept everyone is space. We have limited space where we are.
The building is packed.
The dream is our
And where
own
is that building? You're in Bryn Mawr?
We're in Bryn Mawr, 1240 Montrose Avenue. We are part of the St. Thomas Villanova Bryn Mawr Rosemont Church. We actually are in the building that used to be their old school building, and when that was closed down, they rented it out.
Have you always
so we
been
rent
there?
it. No, we originally started in Wynwood in the basement of a church on Remington Road.
Okay, so you've grown.
We have
obviously.
definitely grown,
It's
and
still
we
growing.
continue to grow.
Do you
But-
see where, in order to grow, are you at maximum capacity where you are? Obviously, you're adapting nicely and trying to make that work. Do you see, is that something down the future, maybe?
That's our hope.
It's our hope. It's part of that dream, yes. Already, because the summer is so popular, we have our Wolf Cubs. They are rising kindergarten through 2nd graders, and they do a show a week. They're a week-to-week program. Then we have our Wolf Pack. They're our 3rd through 8th graders, and they do a full show every 2 weeks. Actually, there are 2 shows going because there's so many children. Right now, half of the camp is working on Annie, and half of the camp is working on Footloose. And then we have a high school program for rising 9th through 12th graders, and we've had to rent more room in the church to place them. But they have a great program. They are counselors in training. They work with the other kids. They learn some of the technical theater for half a day, and the other half of the day have an acting intensive.
Oh, that's
It's just a constant, like, there's this just movement and whirling spaces of everyone's in everywhere. People are in hallways, and it's cool and it's exciting and it's a buzz, but it's also we would love some,
Yes, that's the life. That's the energy.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I think if you're the artist and you're in that, that's what you love about
Exactly,
it, right?
yeah.
There is no downtime.
No.
There's
People
zero.
say to us, when is your downtime? And it's that last week of August, right before Labor Day, it gets a little bit quiet.
Sure.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Sure.
Okay, and do you beef up your staff in the summertime for the camps?
Yes, we have a lot of people working in the building.
We have a lot of counselors.
Counselors.
We have many part-time people. We have part-time artistic teaching artists for the school year for classes and lessons, and some of our artistic staff for the shows and technical people for the shows are part-time. And this summer we have a great number of counselors, and always these fabulous young people. It's amazing. I mean, I really think our staff is outstanding.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's a combination of theater and education, and that's what makes us so special.
Yes, and you mentioned that to me, that the education piece is so important to you. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on that? Is that something you feel Wolf Performing Arts Center offers that maybe some other theater group might not?
Yes. And I think part of that is because of our background. Janine has a master's in theater education. Betsy has a master's in education. I have a master's in education. And I'm sure if I go through our staff, I'll find more people. But if not, they are trained by these talented people on what it means to be a teacher. And there are standards that we meet. And Janine can speak to all of that. There are curriculum guides she uses. So yes, education, the process is very, very important to us.
Yes, trust.
And the learning. I mean, there's so much learning.
Trust and the process.
And the
that
amount
together.
of learning and the cooperation that someone, and of course the self-confidence. But, I mean, I have a couple little sayings. One is, we learn about life through theater, and we learn to bring theater to life.
It's beautiful.
And it's true, you do learn about life when you're walking in somebody else's shoes, which is what you do in theater.
That is true, and that's a beautiful way to put that. So, anything else you want to discuss? I know enrollment for the fall. Are you booked already for your camps?
For next summer?
No, for this.
Oh, for the
You're booked.
for the
You're
camps.
done.
I don't know. I don't know what our
For the
camp
rest of
is.
camp,
I think there's something I can go home and tell my daughter.
I think we're fit.
Yeah, but
Not
even-
the Wolf High, but
Yeah, but like last week, I mean, people like, we have people on the wait list. We called someone on the Monday at like 2, or like we were like, hey,
Oh.
someone didn't show up today. So you never
we
know.
have a waiting list,
Yeah.
and we go down one by one,
Yeah.
and we will accept.
Yeah.
We are not full for the fall.
No, not at all.
Not for
No.
auditions, not for classes, not
Okay.
for lessons. We are not full for the fall.
Registration is happening right now for the
open.
fall.
On
Yep.
our website.
And on your website is wolfperformingartscenter.org.
Correct.
And if
It's a
we
doozy.
were to search you on Google, Wolf Performing Arts Center.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, and it's wolf without an A. Wolf like the animal.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch upon, ladies?
The only other thing I want to say, and I know Janine will agree with this, is what we do for children and their self-esteem, and letting them be who they are and be accepted for who they are. And I always use my favorite quote is, "Children who create do not destroy." And that is something that is extremely important to me.
That is so beautiful.
The health of a child is very important.
It is.
And again, I think thanks to an incredible staff and a wonderful community.
And
These
you mentioned that,
parents,
you and your
the
daughter in that car that day.
Yeah, the parents and the board of directors, it's really an extraordinarily supportive community, and we're very lucky.
Even those who are not theater people, because it's hard, it doesn't matter,
But everybody likes entertainment. The one thing
Right.
that brings us all together, I think,
It's telling a story.
is telling us stories. Stories.
Stories, yeah, 'cause
Exactly.
we all
It's
have them.
storytelling and performance and entertainment. And
And connecting.
It's bang, right there.
Yeah.
It's connecting. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
For having the courage to start Wolf Performing Arts Center all those years ago, and for keeping it going.
Pleasure.
And for being here today to share your stories.
Absolutely.
And we're excited to help get the word out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
we
ladies.
appreciate that.
Again, I'd like to thank my guests today. Bobbi Wolf, who is the founding executive director for Wolf Performing Arts Center, and the education director, Janine Merolla. To find out more, visit them at wolfperformingartscenter.org. I also want to thank Radnor Studio 21 and to you, the viewers, for watching us here at True Stories. I'm Megan Gummel.